Welcome to ATR Powerslam, Above the Ring's new YouTube show coming to you this weekend to provide all your wrestling results for the week ending in 3/11/2023 with a 15-minute time limit. We're your hosts, the SLB and Scott. John, the Statman, is on assignment. We're going to kick things over to Scott. Go into this incredible episode of Monday Night Raw.
Yes, Sam. Fantastic episode. We'll go through all the results quickly. Kevin Owens taking on Solo Sikoa. Kevin does win via disqualification because Jimmy getting involved once again and attacking KO. Bloodline still trying to deal with the Sammy and the KO problem, but Sammy does try to come out after the match is over and pushes the Bloodline out of the way, but KO is still not forgiving Sammy for what he's been doing to him. So that ongoing story continues. Bobby Lashley had himself a pretty good promo against Bray Wyatt, just basically telling him enough of these games, come face me man to man. So we're looking like we're probably going to get ourselves a WrestleMania match between these two down the line. After that, we had Bianca Belair defeating Carmella, who has recently had Chelsea Green by her side, and honestly, I'm loving these two women together. It's absolutely hilarious. After that, we had Miz TV with Seth Rollins, and Logan Paul ends up coming out towards this, and the two of them have a fantastic segment, like promos between one another, and then the whole thing ends out with Logan Paul actually laying out Seth Rollins, which I thought was the surprise of the week. But then it would be topped later on, but we'll get there. Mm-hmm. After that, we had Omos absolutely destroying Dolph Ziggler, which hurt my soul. We had Johnny Gargano with a big win over Finn Balor. Piper Niven continuing her domination since her return over Nikki Cross. And then, boy, oh boy, John Cena, Austin Theory. John coming out obviously because we're back in Boston, and Boston fans obviously we really don't know what else to say when it comes to John. But John doesn't get a second to breathe once he's in the ring. Austin comes out and then John just eviscerates this man. Like I've seen some really ridiculous promos with Cena, especially the one against Roman way back when, but look at where Roman is now. He did, I think, worse to Theory. So we'll see. We'll see if Theory turns into the next Roman Reigns a few years down the road. After that, Chad Gable gets back on the winning ways by putting Baron Corbin even further down the losses. So I don't know what's going on with Baron. It's pretty bad. We have a new WrestleMania match that has been formed. Trish Stratus and the new women's tag champions of Becky Lynch and Lita will be challenging Damage Control at WrestleMania. This should be interesting. There's also some interesting things that might be happening with that 6-woman group. So we'll see how that ends up coming to fruition. And then finally, the heartbreaking moment of the week. Jey Uso returns, tells his brother at first that he's not dealing with it, goes to Sammy, tells Sammy he trusts, they hug, the crowd explodes, and then Jey turns his back on Sammy. Super kick to the face, beats him up, says this is family shit. I can't choose you over my brother. So lots of emotions during the end of this segment. But it's probably one of the better Raws that I've seen in quite some time. After that, we roll over to NXT Roadblock, the final Roadblock before Stand and Deliver. We had one hell of a starting match, a jailhouse street fight between Tony D'Angelo and Dijak, with Tony D getting the win thanks to his underboss Stacks. And as much as I love this match, I need my boy Dijak to start getting some W's here. I mean, his new gimmick is fantastic, but he's been taking nothing but losses, and I'm tired of it, damn it. After that, Braun Breaker and the Creed brothers defeat Indu Sheer and Jinder Mahal. Gigi Dolan gets the win over JC Jane in the end of Toxic Attraction, which, again, Sam, you know how I feel about Toxic Attraction.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Joe Gacy defeats Andre Chase. And then the main event, Roxanne Perez defeating Miko Satomura in probably one of her best matches that she's had. But a very scary moment after this match is over. After Miko raises Roxanne's hand in the ring, Roxanne starts to stumble and then collapses in the ring. The crowd goes deathly silent. Medics come out and everything else, and then they take her to the back. I normally don't get all riled up about this, but I was like, what the hell's going on? Like, this is ridiculous. Come to find out, I guess that there was a thing with Shawn Michaels back in '95 where he did the same thing when he was wrestling Owen Hart. So it looks like they might be kind of drawing from that. But at that first moment when it happened, I was like, oh my God, what the hell just happened? But so that's it for the beginning part of NXT and WWE. I will kick it over to Sam so we can talk about some Dynamite and Impact and ROH.
Yeah, we got a lot now. Kicking off Dynamite, we had Orange Cassidy defending the All Atlantic Championship against Jay Lethal to retain. Following that, we had Ruby Soho taking on and defeating Sky Blue, which I thought was going to be a squash, but it wasn't. Got a little more action out of here. Ruby kind of giving her I don't know what the word is, her almost a promo sometime later on in the night about her new role in this new faction. We don't even have a name for it yet at this point. Next up we had FTR come out, give their promo. Sounds like we're getting them in the guns very shortly for those titles, if not at Double or Nothing. Next up we had Top Flight and AR Fox take on and lose to Jericho, Guevara, and Garcia. John Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli take on defeat Alex Reynolds and John Silver of the Dark Order. In the main event, Powerhouse Hobbs defeats and becomes your new TNT champion, defeating Wardlow. Kind of a shocker, but something we had talked about in a previous show. Make sure you check that out. Hopping over to the Ring of Honor, the Return of Ring of Honor, Episode 2. The opening match, we had Samoa Joe taking on Tony Deppen to retain the TV title. The Boys and Dalton Castle take on and defeat Marcus Cross and C4. Roosh and Dralistico took on and defeated Angelico Serpentico. Trish Adora defeated Billy Starks. Ari Daivari and Slim J took on and defeated Jake Christ and Man Scout. Oh, and we need to check this one out. Wheelie Yuta took on and defeated Timothy Thatcher for the Pure Championship. Yeah, that's going to be a banger. Aussie Open took on defeated Tracy Williams and Rhett Titus. And then we had, this is a long card. What is this? Dark? Eddie Kingston took on, and it looks like it was, took on defeated Ben Dejo, I think. And the main event for the Ring of Honor Women's Championship, Athena retained against Willow Nightingale. Good to see her in the main event for the women's title. Actually, good to see them giving a few women's matches here. Almost like the NXT feel, where they're just like you don't know what the card's going to look like.
Right.
Hopping over to our favorite Thursday show, Impact. We had Bhupinder Gujjar defeat Bully Ray by disqualification. Rhino defeating Sami Callihan. Jordan Grace defeating Alex Garcia. Kushida taking on defeating Jonathan Grisham. I'm looking forward to Impact already. In the main event, Mickie James defending the Knockouts World Championship against Giselle Shaw. So I'm going to tag it right back over to you, Scott, for WWE SmackDown.
All right. So SmackDown, we had ourselves a fatal 5-way to determine Gunther's next opponent or at WrestleMania. And of course, without in WWE ways, we have ourselves some controversy. We had both Drew McIntyre and Sheamus both have simultaneous pins. But that was kind of resolved a little later on, where next week we will have them one-on-one and the winner will take on Gunther at WrestleMania. After that, it was announced the first inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2023 is Rey Mysterio. A little surprised it's this year. I'm not surprised he's getting in, obviously. But of course, that draws the ire of the Judgment Day and Dominic Mysterio. And coming to Rey's aid, Legado del Fantasma. I like that their faces right now. I do anticipate their heel turn at some point, and it's going to be fantastic. But they end up having a 6-man tag. Judgment Day does get the victory there. Dominic still trying to get his father to fight him at WrestleMania or in general. Dominic will not, Ray will not strike his son. So props to him for that. But Dominic continuing to see if he can get his father to fight him. After that, the Viking Raiders pick up a huge victory over Braun Strowman and Ricochet. It's good to see the Viking Raiders start getting some W's again. We had Charlotte Flair demanding a match tonight. She wants to stay ready to go for WrestleMania when she faces Rhea Ripley. She takes on and defeats Shotzi. And then in our main event, Jey Uso comes out to the ring with his brother Jimmy and basically just kind of lays it out that he needed to take out Sammy because Jimmy's his brother. He's his blood. But as you watch the show, as you watch this segment, you notice that Jimmy wants to put this Jay wants to put this blame on Roman, but he can't yet. But I feel like it's coming. So very, very good ending to SmackDown. Both Raw and SmackDown had obviously in NXT as well, had very fantastic endings. But this brings out Sammy. Sammy attacks Jimmy. Jay then attacks Sammy. And this calls for Cody Rhodes to come out at the end, chases away the bloodline. So Cody now getting himself even more involved in this storyline. So who knows? Maybe Cody and Sammy will go for the tag championships night one of WrestleMania.
Ooh.
Right? I don't know. We'll see. But that's it for the WWE side here. I'll tag once more over to Sam for Rampage.
Here we go. Closing out the week, we had Sammy Guevara taking on and defeating Action Andretti in the opening bout. Good to see him getting a lot of screen time,
Agreed.
Sometimes they'll pick up the talent and they kind of like, you have a couple matches and that's it. He's been on for a month or so now, and they're just still letting him, probably a little over a month, couple months.
Yeah.
Following that, we had my boys, the Acclaimed, take on and defeat Jake Cartwheel and Starboy Charlie. I didn't watch it, but it sounds like a squash almost.
Watch out for those two.
Okay.
They've been on Dark and Elevation recently, so yeah, they might be something sooner rather than later.
I guess I'll have to watch Rampage. Our boy Konosuke Takeshita takes on, defeats Preston Vance. And finally, the main event, Rio getting a surprise victory over Nyla Rose. So that's your weekend in March, for March 11th. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to listen to our ATR podcast that drops every other week.